Today I'm really excited to be taking on a painting challenge that's been on my painting bucket list for a while now. I'm here in Mexico and I'm demonstrating this really complex scene to my guests on a painting holiday. We're at one of the most beautiful and intricate churches in Mexico. This is Tequis in central Mexico, and I'm going to attempt to capture all of its complex details in watercolor. Plus, I don't want to get too close to the church and make it dominate the scene too much, so I'm going to step back, plus find some shade to paint under. It's a sunny hot day. It's important to get somewhere comfortable, ideally in the shade, to paint on plein air in watercolor. Now, during this demo, you will hear background noise, talking and questions. This is a live demo, so please excuse that. I'm going to go through the complete painting process with you, describing the scene, my plan of approach, and all the stages of doing the watercolor from start to finish. So let's get started.
Yeah, so we're quite close to this church. Ideally, how do we reduce it in size? Ideally, we would have been further back, but because of the shadow here, and thinking about where that shadow is going to go during the day, on the left-hand side of this tree, the shadow is going to go forwards. We're on the leading edge of that shadow. So I think the number one rule is sit somewhere comfortable and look at those shadows and think where they're going to go. All right, and then think, well, what is nice to paint around here?
And you're going to do it horizontal and not vertical?
Yeah, we're going.
The whole thing?
We're going horizontal orientation.
Yep.
Not sure about the whole thing.
Okay. That's a lot.
No, the reason why we're at this angle is that we've got the shade on the left-hand side of the building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If we were painting over on the other side of the square, there would be sun on all sides, and we wouldn't get that contrast, light and shadow. Okay, so we got that corner. Obviously, during maybe 3 hours from now, the sun will be in a different position, and the shadows will be on the other side. Okay, I will make a start. As we had with the hacienda, with the tall dome, trying to get, that's the tallest part here, this bell tower on the left hand side. So imagining that in the composition and where the top of it is going to be. I think for me, somewhere maybe in the middle, but it's going to be balanced out with all the rest of it going on the front of the church going on.
Do you know where the bottom is?
Well, I'm imagining it. This, where we were saying about trying to put, we're so close to it now.
Yeah.
The danger is we're just going to make a composition of just that front, and it's going to be boring. We've got to push it back. We're going to imagine it smaller. Imagine it smaller, which is going to make it simpler to paint.
I know. Back, or you're just going to make it simpler to begin with?
Well, both. I'm going to be pushing it back and trying to make it simple. All right. Let's start with the tower there.
So is that just to the right of center? Or
It's just the right of centre. Yeah, there's my there's my
that's clever.
aide memoire.
But you know what size to make that. I mean, I couldn't do that without knowing where the bottom is.
No, it's just well, you could do it in light pencil first of all. Now I'm coming down. We kind of go out a little bit, and so the bottom will be, and the bottom is almost horizontal, or it slopes up to the left to the right. The bottom is going to be around about there. Trying to think, this tall part of the tower, that tall part of the tower is about, that's about a third, and this is about 2/3. So think about those proportions.
Yeah, they're about third.
All right, a quarter, half, third, 2/3. So that's So we're saying that's a third. So 1,
Yeah, again.
2.
Yeah.
Right, there, 1, 2. Bottom is around about there.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be precise, but let's try and do a good job on this. The base is a little bit, gosh, it's so complicated.
You think it's complicated. Oh my goodness.
The corner is just a little bit off the center. All right, thinking
the
about
right.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so it's not in the middle, it's just to the left.
Right.
Actually, it could be a
So
little
the
bit
part
more.
that's in the sun is larger than the part in the shadow.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the shadow will be a little bit. There's my street level there. Let's have it going. Let's make life easier for ourselves. Have it fairly horizontal. Right, the difficult bit's coming up. From here, we've got the main facade of the church and that portico triangular thingy.
Oh,
You're an architect, Sally, isn't it? What's that called? Is this that triangular? Is that portico?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a landscape architect.
I don't.
It's kind of a loaded church. It's kind of, now looking at it, those columns look heavy on it.
It's a combination of all sorts of.
Styles.
Yeah. Right. What's the width of that facade from here? Maybe thirds again. If that's 1/3, maybe 2/3 there, something like that. Just draw it in lightly. The center is around about here. We've got this portico. I'm saying portico, I'm just a...
This Greek thing.
It's Greek, yeah. There's 2. It's split in half, roughly in half. Columns there, columns there. All right, and then columns here, columns here. We've got, lower. We've got buildings going off to the right-hand side. Don't need to be bothered too much about the detail over there. Above the facade is that jutty out bit.
We call the clock tower.
Which, we'll call that the clock tower. Now, if that's the point of that,
Yeah, just
the right-hand edge is there.
this is no gargoyles. No what? Gargoyles? Oh,
There we go.
yeah. Yeah, but they're not
Again, sort of columns. We really have to think as we're doing this how we're going to simplify things.
So put just shade on this side.
Yeah.
All those windows.
Jim, everything is going to be a fiddly bit. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Just mind your.
The angles and the little bits.
No.
And then that's,
Do you want to come a bit closer in?
no, I'm fine.
Okay.
And the ceiling is humped.
That's right. And when you go in, you see it as a roof, but they're different size humps.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, left-hand side. And that dome.
Oh,
The,
it doesn't
the
end.
dome that we.
We could have done that little church and printed it out yesterday. It's just one simple little facade.
There's the dome. And the other one, the lower one in front of it. Similar size.
Yeah, it is pretty much the same size, isn't it?
That one broken down wall.
Yeah.
What that It was all the way across at one point, I suppose, to maybe hide those domes.
They must have, it's been rebuilt
This side may
eventually.
have been built on later.
Yeah, I think so.
Nuns live in there somewhere.
Oh, do they? Huh.
The left-hand wall is a similar height to the front here.
Oh, yeah.
And comes out to the left. We've got the tree here. Oh, it goes up to the corner.
Conveniently pruned.
Tree. And smaller ones. Ignore the cross here in the front. Let's just have some people now in the scene. Right, now watch these figures as they're passing. Look at the top of their heads. It is around about there.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
So our figures need to be mostly that size, but further away they would be a little bit lower because of the slope. Now
Yeah,
where we,
she's below the...
yeah, look where that guy is now going into the church. So little figures.
She barely comes up to the end of the
Yeah.
columns.
Little figures.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
Perhaps. There's a figure.
Yeah, it's around about there, isn't it? Around about there.
Just under the
To-
hedge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah. That's right. Just under that hedge. But we don't want it in line with the hedge.
She's little. Look how low that is, the hedge there.
Yeah. Is that because of the
Because
ground
of
is
the
sloping?
slope,
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
right.
realize there was
It's
such
a bigger slope than you think.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, there must be. Because usually you can just kind of line the,
Yeah.
the eye level,
That's right.
no matter
Listen.
how close or far they are.
Exactly, because they're all have the same head height.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Assortment of figures. Quicker you draw them, the berries. So a figure would be a U, upside down U. Then think, are they going left or right?
There are often cars in here.
Ooh.
Will you keep quiet?
What a boat. I wanted to see if he took the bait. I don't know if people or cars. I think it's a toss-up.
Okay, we'll keep it simple, all right? Not drawing in the shadows. Try and
Will you paint
There-
them in them?
yeah, the shadows we'll go with heavy with the shadows, and then we've got in this top right corner we've got this bit of foliage
We're under
above us.
imaginary.
Above us, this tree here, all right. Imagining we're further back, we've got that foliage
Right.
framing that top right corner, and then maybe shadows
Yeah. Always have shadows.
coming across. That's it.
You need an eraser?
Nope. We're now.
Introduce you in a Cutson Neo?
That's, right, painting. Let's start with the sky.
Cut around all those things, right?
Yeah.
Are they darker?
We're going to cut around
No, okay.
the church.
These were from Paul last year for my birthday. And then I'm going to have some other trouble ones for my daughters. Okay. You know I don't need anything else.
This makes us
I
a
don't
little
really
bit more
need that,
level.
but I want.
All right, sky color.
Do you ever just rinse off your paints to get when you get
No, no.
Never.
But rinse out the mixing wells,
Yeah.
but not these. No,
Yeah, so
you'll
that's-
When
see.
you've got all your different colors on it.
Yeah, look at that yellow.
Yeah,
It's,
look at
but
that
it
yellow,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
What?
If I desperately need bright yellow, I will just
Yeah.
wipe it off, and I've got the sponge there.
Yeah.
So clear water, wipe, couple of wipes, and you expose the yellow again.
I periodically go through and wash them.
I do too.
Oh, well, I just
Someone finds it funny.
put the tack over the wells to wash them, and it automatically just.
Oh, yeah. Cleans them up. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right.
Why do you think they only wrote out Tequis and not Tequis Pan? Tequis Pan.
They can only afford up to S.
They're going to add on later.
They're charged by the letter. All right, we'll start the left-hand side. Again, notice the brush stroke. Don't go like that. Go one direction. And then the shape of the dome. Don't worry if you
If those domes were in shade, would you just go over them?
Yes, I would. Think about, is it lighter or darker? And then bell tower. Doesn't matter if we go over that left-hand side. Excuse me. Doesn't matter if we go over that left-hand side because that will be darker. What is important is the right-hand side. So there and there. Go over this tree area here, and then
Imaginary tree.
yeah, imaginary tree. We brought
Really
it.
run into trouble.
We brought it forwards. Mop up the little bead there. And then we're over on the right-hand side now of the church. Keep it simple. And we'll go right down to there. Continue over. There. Okay. A little bit of a bead forming. Good idea just to mop it up onto the sponge. Mop it up onto the sponge. All right. Base colour for. Notice we've got this yellow trim, this yellow, the ribs of the dome and the behind the columns there. I might use a little bit of body paint, like a yellow, a dull yellow for that. So I'm just thinking about the base colour for the church itself, that pinkish colour.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon that is?
Now
I-
you're leaving the yellow stripes white for
No, I'm now going to paint over the whole church and the foreground here.
Okay, we're ready.
So I think a little bit of weak alizarin crimson perhaps. We'll see what that's like. I'll keep it simple, won't it?
Yes. Well, how much water to paint?
Now the tops of the domes
Yeah,
are
nice.
very light. That's actually, they are very light. Let's put in a little bit of water on that top.
Is the sky dry now, or
It's dry, yeah, I can tell. Yeah,
so you don't have to worry about it?
no, that sky is pretty dry. So a little bit of water, because we want to drag the paint up to it, and hopefully we'll get a soft, yes, all right. We'll put that bit.
What about the tops? You're not going to wet those?
What's that?
You're not going to wet the tops as well?
No, no,
Okay.
could almost leave those. There we are.
Color looks right.
We could go a little bit more vivid. Paint over the trees. We're gonna. They're darker, greener. We can go like the yellow. We can go with thick body paint there. All right. Let's continue over. There's that. The sort of central part of the church. So a little bit like that. Yes, the main part of the church there, the middle of the church. Now the facade, let's crack on.
Breadsticks? Oh, no. Oh, those cigars, mate.
Oh, I thought that's
Yeah,
my first thought was
yeah.
cigars.
Trying to get like there. You see my paint has gone over into the sky and I've got that little bit of
Yeah.
a border, so try and avoid that if you can. Try and go as close to the sky, but also without touching it, and just right up to it, but not leaving a white gap. Do you see? Like that. Ideally, well, not ideal. That's a bit better. Continue on. In fact, the middle of the church is a little bit grayer. Now we're coming down to street level. Some of these figures may have some lighter clothing, so we'll leave our options open on those. So I can paint over their heads, but leave some of their tops unpainted. Paint around those.
Oops. Thank you.
Now, the street, it's a little bit cooler. Oh, I've gone over it now. Don't worry. And painting like this might leave some marks that could be made into more figures. Perhaps a little bit darker on this side. And lighter on the right. And we've got just different sort of variations of tone and colour. There's cool blues in there, like a slaty colour, warmer colours. All right. With a big area like this, we don't want it to be too monotonous and all the same colour and the same value. So just try, if you can, drop in just little bits. We'll go
Photographs.
lighter. Then mop up that.
More for every cake.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
You ready for
Now-
a squirrel?
Yep, ready for squirrel. For the shadows. It's a bit more of a bead for me here, so just mop that up. We don't want that. With my board I can sort of tilt it back, but I think in this occasion just mop it up. And this is drying. Ooh, this is drying quite nicely.
The breeze is helping too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The temperature. Yeah.
Might be a help to Tim, but not necessarily to us.
Well, if you don't want to tackle the whole thing, just tackle a small bit of it, like just the domes on the left,
Yeah.
or those figures. You see those figures there, just about enter the church. Just do those, just that entranceway at an angle. Shadows is going to be. Look at the colour of the shadows. They are a darker version of the colour of the building. So it will have to include alizarin crimson. Let's use some of this water here. Alizarin crimson, a little bit of ultramarine blue. They're not mega dark. It's dark underneath the greenery here. Or actually, I could just do those hedges first. Let's get those hedges in.
Yeah, before they change.
Yeah, because we're going to paint the shadows underneath those hedges. Bit of my
At the same time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're see how dark it is underneath those clipped bushes. All right. Well, like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? My Viridian green and burnt umber for me is a good colour for those clipped bushes, and we can make them up where they are.
Yeah, you
One
can just
there.
walk under them.
We can change them around. All right, and then the other big one there. So notice my brush shape. Look at that brush head. It's square.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, just by
Using
me.
it? You didn't cut it.
No, that's an ordinary brush, but
Got to where you wanted
that, like that, 180, like that, and some brushes you will get that like a sword, like a dagger. That's great for doing at that angle. Great for doing squares or rectangles.
it. Well, what about a square?
Could do it. Yes, little flat brush would be ideal for that.
I can't see my stuff anymore. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Is there any other greenery? No, we'll keep it at that. Oh, maybe something over there. Shadows. Alizarin crimson. Ultramarine blue. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. Perhaps a bit of neutral tint as well, just to go a bit darker. Not too much paint on the brush. Again, I'm doing that, squeezing out that sort of 180 there.
So that you save the paint to reuse rather than. 'cause sometimes
Yes.
you take it out.
Yeah. No, not on the sponge. No, that should be enough there. That should be enough for all the shadows. From the left-hand side, then, where it's a bit cooler, shadows going across the street there. So we've got these different shadow shapes. That needs to be a bit softer there. And then immediately there, see how quickly the sun is moving round. Now, big contrast on this side. And then in the middle here, to the left of the church, down to the top of that wall, and then we're up to the left-hand side of the tower now. So the left-hand side of the bell tower. Just do those two little bits there. Neutral tint, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue. We can go a little bit darker as we come down to the bottom, so darker, more intense mixture of those. Up to the top of the clip bushes. I've got my bushes stopping a little bit. There's a shadow going there, shadow here. Let's go underneath these clip bushes now. Just think of them as cubes, that little bit of shadow underneath them, and there's a diagonal shadow just behind the bushes, and then continue that one down. Our hats are going to fly off. Right, careful painting around some of these figures again. A little bit dark as we come down to street level. Then the middle, the facade of the church, those shadows aren't as dark. They're a cooler. All right, so a little bit more blue, add a bit more water here. And then just think about the major shapes of those shadows. Starting from the top, there's the bit inside the, I call it the portico, hopefully it is.
What do you call that?
The triangle bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a portico, I might be wrong. But the shadow underneath that, or within that, and then let's get rid of my hat. Thanks.
Don't have to go down.
Yeah.
Blows away.
I'm going to sail off in a minute. Right, are my shadows, they're just a bit too dark.
So what did you add to make it cooler?
Well, light. Needs to be lighter and cooler, so any blue, and a little bit more water. All right, check your brush shape. Nice point. Okay. And then let's get some nice shadow shapes in. And the angle of those shadows are parallel. All right, so if we do one there, that direction, we want to make the others the same. And then a little bit more tricky within the facade. Actually, we need to go a bit cooler, a bit more blue. Cobalt blue. A bit more water. Cobalt blue. Check the brush head. The halfway down, we've got that ledge. Still needs to go a bit cooler. And grayer. Parallel, all these shadows.
If the church were green, what color shadows would you use? A dark green
The-
or the same color?
I could use a dark green in there, so that could have been neutral tint and a yellow, but for speed, I've just sort of glazed over it with this shadow colour. It's still looking a little bit of a mess at the moment. We've got the shadows, some of those. Shadow some of the base of the columns there. Shadow on the right hand side of the church.
Yeah.
Sorry, the shady buildings on the right hand side of the
down
church.
below the awning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm imagining the awning's not there. All right. And just keep it simple down there. And some shadow across the foreground, which will be a little bit cooler. So the shadow, so we've got the overhanging tree here, imagining the shadow, because we've got to fill in this space with something. So a bit too much water on that. They're quite dense, those shadows. So that will look a little bit better when it's balanced with the trees at the top. Let's put those in now. So a dark green for the foliage, top right corner. Cadmium yellow, neutral tint. And then
It's straight in. Not even using it the palette.
and just look at the edge of the it's like a sort of sycamore or oak
Pin
type.
oak.
It's pin oak, is it?
I think it's a pin oak or a Turkish oak. Yeah.
Oh, good, you would know. Yeah.
But trying to emulate that leaf shape. Yeah, that looks a bit better, doesn't it, with that filling in that
Yeah.
sky there.
Do the tree well enough, it'll take away the attention from
Oh,
the
that's
building.
true. That's
Yeah, you
true.
can have the tree here. If we were stood further back, the tree sort of, this clip bush comes, so you can then, you don't need to bother with all of that stuff there. Let's just cover in the middle.
So that's just your.
Cadmium yellow
Yeah.
and a little bit of yellow, but mostly this neutral
Yeah.
tint gives a nice dark green.
That's worth the price of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that.
a quick dark green.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You could do well, a yellow and an ultramarine blue, but this, you could use Payne's grey instead of,
I don't like Payne's grey. It's so blue.
maybe not try and make it too, it's too perfect there. And maybe also imagine some of the leaves coming over the church as well. All right, we'll
Yeah.
connect the shapes,
Yeah.
and that will be it for that corner. Right, figures and details next.
No, it's not taking
much.
pennies.
All right, and we've got a few little blooms appearing there, which again, it just gives that sort of foliage tree type effect. All right, small synthetic brush. Gosh, where do I start?
Bottom, left to right.
Yeah, well, left to right, small synthetic brush, and getting in the main details of the architectural details, the windows as well. So, oops.
Have you been working?
I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but at least we're just placing those different darks right. Another difficult area, the facade, and just creating the feeling of those columns. And the archway in there.
Wow, yeah, just it's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, don't put too many lines in. Two doorway entrances. Right, figures. Figures and shadows. Let's go back to my squirrel mop brush. Actually, I'll just add a bit of, just a bit more colour over here. So,
Still a lot of purple on that brush.
yeah, let's wash it off. You see the water; it's gone purple.
Yeah, I think it's probably the reason. Yeah.
There's a cover of a building there.
Yeah.
All right, while we've got this, this could be flesh colour for some figures. So there's a figure there I can see. We've got one there, one here. We'll not have them all coming towards us. Vary them a little bit. And just have an observation of what people are wearing. It's generally darker clothing.
Lighter on top.
Yeah, see those two there, lighter on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe these are two, the light ones here. And the shadows are going to go just slightly to the left.
Yeah. All right.
Let's have some darker figures. Maybe one there.
Wow.
And there. One there. Keep that one light. stripe.
You guys are Maine. You guy in the stripes?
Stripey.
Yeah.
I think it works. Right, these figures could be darker against a lighter background, but not black, all right, because they're in the distance. Let's make them a little bit lighter. Check the brush head again.
See if my brush will do that. I don't think it will.
Get the point, you see.
Yeah. That's like a flat point.
It is, it's,
Yeah. I don't think
I
mine
just
will
had to
do that.
turn it around there just to get the... more figures. We had these over here. Well, they could be, let's go red. Check the point.
No idea what to do. That was interesting.
Yeah. Some toy or something.
Tiny bit of shadow for these more distant figures. Just a thin slither. Maybe these are walking towards us. Can we see any more figures? Maybe there's a figure there, that light. Oh no, that light there, that's another figure. Bit too tall perhaps, but anyway. Another figure there, this use that light there on the right hand side. There's a figure there.
They're early.
Okay,
Yay.
right.
So now you're all done except for the yellow bit?
Yellow and maybe some lines on the
We use that red trim.
Is the media acrylic?
No, watercolor.
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 Do you know that red trim? Just as
Oh yeah. That's just gonna.
Sorry.
It's good to have helpers.
He's visiting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Need to do a bit more trim on here.
Has he been here before?
I don't know. Walks right by you. Something about you is attractive. Oh, and then
Do you live here?
up now.
You're all from.
so we're from all over. We're here for the week.
I think last year I remember there were people who were coming for art and to draw. I remember seeing them.
Heads for these.
It's fun.
Ah,
It's
I wondered
to be
about their
outside on
heads.
a day.
Yeah, I need to.
The weather is beautiful every day.
Look at that
It's a little
bug. Right on that.
Thank you.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Very, very colorful.
Maybe just need a little bit of.
Yeah. He likes the tripod.
Right, yellow.
Tim, I have some young brilliant light. Would that help?
I need to check what sort of hue that is, what colour. I think mine, for me, I think my I think
Naples yellow will
I
do
think
it?
that there, you see that colour there,
Yeah.
all right, that's
It
pretty
doesn't have
much.
the orange that John Brilliant has.
No, let's see how I get on with this.
Okay.
Let's see. Make sure my brush is clean. Unearth some of this yellow as well. Scrape off that. So, body colour now.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't have any yellow, but does have a little bit of yellow in the sort of bell tower at the top. And then this one, it's got the
Top is yellow.
stripes,
Yeah.
top's yellow, top's yellow there.
At the very top too.
Is the very top yellow or pink?
I think it's yellow.
Oh, well, we'll leave it white.
Right.
I'm for the easy life. Down. There. And there. Some details around the side. And then details like that. Don't want to go overboard with this, I would look just too false. Up here, just some colour like that. 2 columns there. Little bit of this underneath, or so behind the columns there. Can't really see all of it. A little bit of colour by the doorway. Not sure about these 2 figures, they don't look right. Rigger brush now. Let's give him a hat.
Give it a hat with Naples yellow hat.
Yeah. Naples yellow. Where could I put a hat that would give the best impact? Maybe this one here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This one here. So, Mexican.
Tin gallon.
Yes. Just the right amount of moisture on that brush, rigger brush. Let's do the brim first.
Yeah, perfect.
Looks a bit more Mexican, doesn't it? All right. Maybe some of these could have a... Oh, that's better. That's better. Right, a little bit of dark with the rigger. Just mix up some of this. And a bit more detail to the church. There's a little bit of shadow behind these ribs. Maybe a figure down there. Sorry this is taking so long. It's a lot. It's a long one, this one. Now, are we above the sewers here? I'm getting a whiff. I'm getting a whiff.
I think we're
I'm
right
gonna-
on top of it.
Getting a whiff of something. Right, some lines to help us with the perspective, and this channel here, this drainage channel. Some nasty holes there.
I know, they're waiting for your brushes.
Yeah.
I'm
So
watching.
this, can't lose my brushes down there. Line there. Line there. And then maybe a few more. They're not there, but it just helps with the.
Oh, they're kind of there.
Yeah, they are sort of, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then some go, just a few going the other way.
Cool.
This is a bit empty over here.
How about that street light?
Yeah, got a street light. Well, let's just get on the little cross here and up there as well. And on there's different things going on. The thing with this is knowing when to stop.
Yeah. I think you did it.
Yeah?
Yeah. She wants to talk the whole time.
A few more lines, just strengthen up that right hand side. Few here. We'll try and do an easier one in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's done. I could do more, but
What would you do?
well, just a bit more on that church, the facade perhaps.
Front.
This front, this area here. But I think I've got the impression of
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
the church and the light and shade, figures, lots of figures in the scene. These might be just a little bit too big for the scene, but it doesn't matter. Shadow here. Think about the composition, the placement of the facade, the domes on that third there, framing right, top right, bottom left, with those shadows. Yes, the church at Tequis. Over to you now.